for the foreseeable future. This Pacific press conference right here, because this is when we was going to find out what was going to happen with Shedeur Sanders, what was going to happen with Deshaun Watson, and I'm here to tell you, we got some answers, man, and let the week begin, because Shedeur ain't even practicing right now. Kevin Stefanski is telling the world that Shedeur is still dealing with this back injury. Now, Shedeur did return back to Boulder, Colorado over the weekend. Now, he said...
So, Kevin Stefanski just lit up the entire NFL news cycle like a firecracker. Forget about playbooks or penalties. This man basically confirmed that Shedeur Sanders is out and Dylan Gabriel is suddenly the new golden boy of Cleveland. Can you believe it? The Browns have officially entered their football soap opera era, and the drama is off the charts. Is Stefanski a mastermind with a hidden plan, or did he just throw his whole season into chaos with one move? Whatever this is, it's about to get wild. Buckle up, because the meltdown's only getting started. From the moment that press conference kicked off, the tension was thick enough to cut with a cleat. That classic Cleveland energy filled the air, the one that screams, something ridiculous is about to happen.
Shedeur working out with Trainer Lauren up in Colorado, so maybe Shedeur is having troubles with his back. I'm not going to deny that. I'm saying that is facts. Now, we thought that, you know, some way, somehow Shedeur was going to play. I'm here to tell you he's not going to play this week, guys. Judging off the tone of what Kevin Stefanski said, Shedeur's not playing. Now, another thing I thought was going to happen was Deshaun Watson going to be activated. I'm here to tell you, Deshaun Watson.
Reporters were locked in, fans were holding their breath, and social media was already typing in all caps. Then Stefanski steps up to the mic, calm face, serious tone, like a man who knows he's about to drop a grenade in the middle of his own locker room. This was supposed to be the moment, the big Shedeur update, the Deshaun redemption arc, the "we're finally getting it together" headline. But nah, instead Cleveland turned what should have been a professional announcement into a full-blown sitcom. Stefanski started explaining the Shedeur situation like a parent trying to convince the teacher that the dog ate the homework again. Apparently, Shedeur Sanders isn't just out. He's out. No practice, no play, no warm-ups, nothing. He's reportedly dealing with a back injury that's already more talked about than half the Browns' offensive line. You could feel the energy in that room just collapse the second those words left Stefanski's mouth. This wasn't a press conference anymore. It was a live drama premiere, and Cleveland just took center stage. It's like the entire room collectively sighed, "Oh, we're really doing this again." Another week, another mysterious injury update, another round of those trust the process speeches from a coach who hasn't truly trusted a healthy quarterback since 2019. You could practically feel the fan base deflating in real time. And here's where it gets crazy. Word is, Shedeur Sanders has packed his bags and dipped back to Boulder, Colorado. Because let's be honest, when things go bad in Cleveland, the best play call is escape route. Apparently, he's there doing rehab, working with some trainer named Lauren, getting his back right and staying low-key.
With Mary Kay Cabot. She asked him some questions about Shedeur Sanders and the back tightness that held him out of yesterday's game. And some of the nuggets in there were quite interesting, if you ask me. So she said Shedeur mentioned in the locker room yesterday, either before or after the game, that it wasn't his decision not to be active in the game yesterday. Now, I know that's not always a big deal, because obviously it is the medical staff and the coaching decision whether or not a player is going to be active and all that kind of stuff.
And sure, maybe that's true, but at this point, Cleveland fans would believe anything. If Stefanski stood there and said Shedeur's back just needs time to reconnect spiritually, half the locker room would start burning sage and calling it team bonding. Stefanski insists Shedeur's getting better, which in Cleveland speak translates to he's alive, but don't expect miracles anytime soon. This team has turned vague optimism into an art form. Every medical update sounds less like football news and more like the opening chapter of a mystery novel. But then, the real bombshell drops. The tone shifts, the hesitation builds, and there's that deadly pause before Stefanski speaks. You can feel it coming. And boom, Shedeur isn't playing. Not this week, maybe not next week, maybe not until the Browns figure out what offense they're even pretending to run. And just when everyone thought it couldn't possibly get any more confusing, Stefanski starts talking about Deshaun Watson because of course he does. Now the Browns have officially gone full circus. One quarterback can't move his back, another can't seem to reappear, and their head coach sounds like he's practicing for a press secretary role in Washington. But hold on, the plot gets even thicker. Out of nowhere, Stefanski drops another twist mid-press conference like it's a season finale. He casually announces that he's handing over play-calling duties to Tommy Rees. Just like that. Mid-chaos, mid-questions, mid-fan meltdown, boom, Tommy's calling plays now, except, surprise! That was apparently a lie. Reports say Stefanski's been holding onto those play calls the whole time like a toddler clutching a favorite toy car.
It's going to take the owner stepping in and saying no to Stefanski, but I'm going to tell you what tears me up about this. They have the fourth easiest schedule remaining. They have what Pro Football Focus ranks the #1 defense in pro football. This draft pick. So it scares me because Stefanski is going to fight for his life and his job and his draft pick, a third-round pick in Dylan. It tears my guts out to watch what's happening to Shedeur with a chance. This is on a silver platter for somebody to take the reins. So I'm not loving this for Shedeur unless Jimmy Haslam.
You can't make this stuff up. Only in Cleveland could a single press conference feel like a full-blown reality show episode, complete with plot twists, confusion, and the same old question every fan keeps asking. What is actually going on here? And now, finally, Stefanski's letting go. Tommy Rees, the offensive coordinator who probably found out mid-sentence, is suddenly in charge of fixing the Browns' offensive disaster. It's like being handed the wheel of the Titanic and told, "You got this, right?" The whole thing sounds insane, and the way Stefanski explained it somehow made it even funnier. You could see it on his face, that forced calm look that says, "Please believe I planned this." But deep down, everyone knows this ship's been taking on water for weeks. Meanwhile, the locker room is out here pretending this is totally normal. You've got players nodding along like, "Yeah, we knew this was coming," while their eyes scream confusion. No, they didn't know. Nobody did. Half the team probably found out on Twitter 5 minutes after the announcement. Imagine scrolling your feed and realizing, wait.
Would that have factored into this at all, or what was the thinking behind that, and how'd that go?
Yeah, he obviously came in Saturday with his back injury. We were hopeful that he'd be able to move around well enough to suit up on Sunday, but put him through a pregame warm-up, and obviously just didn't feel like he was.
Tommy's calling plays now? That's peak Cleveland chaos right there. But here's the real kicker. When Stefanski handed over those plays, he didn't just give up responsibility, he gave up the illusion of control. That's the Browns' version of waving a white flag, except instead of surrendering, they just pass the flag to someone else and call it strategic leadership. It's desperation with a fancy title, and it's not like the rest of the roster's doing much to help either. The team's offense looks like a group project where everyone forgot the due date. Cleveland's quarterbacks, meanwhile, are out here collecting MRIs like they're rare trading cards. Reporters were itching to ask Stefanski about Joe Flacco, the same veteran they let go, who's now out there lighting up defenses like he's 25 again.
Expressed that it was not his decision to be inactive for the game. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but I thought that was interesting because she then follows it up with, if Shedeur had come to you guys and said, "Hey, I want to play, I can play," would that have factored into this at all, or what was the thinking behind it? And Kevin answered like this. He said, yeah, he obviously came in Saturday with his back injury. We were hopeful that he'd be able to move around well enough to suit up on Sunday, but put him through a pregame warm-up and obviously just didn't feel like he was ready to play, Mary Kay. And here's where the interesting nugget comes in. He says,
and here's Cleveland, stuck juggling 3 quarterbacks, one hurt, one invisible, and one who still doesn't know he's officially starting. Enter Dylan Gabriel, the new kid on the block who just walked into the wildest situation in the league and somehow found himself at the top of the depth chart. It's like winning a raffle you never entered. The kid's got talent, no doubt, but stepping into this mess, it's like walking into a burning building with a single bucket of Gatorade. Good luck, Dylan. It's your show now, and the entire league's watching to see if you sink or somehow swim in the madness that is Cleveland football. And the way Stefanski announced it, or better yet, didn't announce it, made the whole circus even better. He didn't come out and say it directly, oh no, he dropped hints like he was running a mystery show. It's like Cleveland's new game plan is pure confusion. Nobody knows who's starting.
Then when they come and say things about Shedeur Sanders, all you have to do is say, look, I get it. Shedeur has a very, big personality and he's known globally, right? But I know Shedeur Sanders as a person, and as what I see here. He works hard, he's intelligent, he puts the work in, he's humble, he's a great teammate. And all of those things, I hope you guys get an opportunity to see that eventually when he gets on the field. And guess what? It would diffuse all bad articles and people would go away.
Not even the actual starter. It's not strategy anymore. It's chaos disguised as suspense. So let's get this straight. Shedeur's back is still on an extended vacation. Deshaun's apparently ghosting the team. Tommy Reese just got promoted to play caller in chief overnight, and poor Dylan Gabriel's sitting there quietly polishing his helmet like, guess it's me now. And let's not forget, Joe Flacco's out there lighting up defenses, reminding everyone what competence actually looks like. Beautiful, poetic even, if it wasn't such a mess.
Plays poorly against the Jets. I think that's out. He's going to be stripped of them powers. Because what you're telling me is that you had 2 weeks to prepare him. You could bring him over for dinner, go over all the plays. You guys can watch, getting your DVR together, watch Grey's Anatomy, reruns of House.
Then came the press conference Q&A, the cherry on top of this football fiasco. You could practically hear the collective sigh echo through the room as everyone realized that even the head coach has no clue what's going on. The Browns have officially entered improv territory. They're just making it up as they go and praying something sticks. Stefanski kept saying, "We haven't played our best football yet," and all anyone could think was, "Coach, you haven't played any football worth remembering." Every answer he gave somehow made things even foggier. "We're confident in our guys," he said. "But which ones, Coach? The ones with working spines or the ones still stuck in the rehab room?" And when he tried to hype up the skill positions, it was almost sad. Because what's the point of having weapons when your offense looks allergic to touchdowns? Then came the cherry question. Jerry Jeudy. Stefanski promised to get him more involved, and the whole room nearly laughed out loud. More involved in what, exactly? The chaos? The confusion? The ever-growing injury report? Every word out of Stefanski's mouth felt like a riddle wrapped in corporate buzzwords. It's like he's reading from a script written by someone who's never actually seen a football game, but really loves management meetings. This isn't coaching anymore. It's PR with a headset. Every sentence is polished, vague, and hollow, like he's trying to inspire confidence with a PowerPoint slide instead of a game plan. Cleveland didn't just lose control. They lost the plot completely, and somehow Stefanski's still up there pretending it's all part of the process.
Imagine a world where your quarterback is better than you. Imagine a world where your quarterback is more desired than you. The fan base already gravitates towards Shedeur Sanders. The world gravitates towards Shedeur Sanders. Does he have his haters? Absolutely. But jersey sales gravitate towards Shedeur Sanders. There's not a world now where Shedeur can go ball and Kevin Stefanski can continue to be the coach. Because if I'm Shedeur and I start balling, hell nah, I don't want this dude as my coach. Because he didn't believe in me in the first place. And how can Kevin Stefanski now, Shady?
What a masterpiece of organized confusion. We're staying focused. We're building confidence. We're creating opportunities. That's Stefanski's new mantra. Translation: we're spinning in circles, but at least we look professional while doing it. You could almost hear the reporters trying not to laugh. Then, in true Stefanski fashion, he brought up the Jets game like it was some golden opportunity. Sure, coach, an opportunity for what? Disaster? You've got a brand new play caller, a backup to the backup quarterback, and a locker room that looks more like a guessing contest than a team. What could possibly go wrong? By the time that press conference wrapped up, the exhaustion in the room was palpable. Reporters were closing their laptops mid-sentence. Players were avoiding eye contact like kids in class hoping not to get called on. And Stefanski was up there smiling through the chaos like a dad insisting the family road trip isn't falling apart, even though the car's smoking and the GPS just froze. The Browns situation has officially reached that rare, perfect level of dysfunction, where it's not even sad anymore. It's entertainment. At this point, it's not tragedy. It's performance art. You almost have to give Stefanski some credit because it takes real talent to talk that long and say absolutely nothing. Every sentence he speaks is like a fog machine. Lots of smoke, zero visibility. He's turned deflection into an art form. And while he's out there spinning PR poetry, the locker room is straight up awkward. Players are stretching in dead silence. Trainers are whispering about who's actually starting. And somewhere in the back, Dylan Gabriel's probably just sitting there wondering, so, am I actually playing this week or nah? Meanwhile, Shedeur's chilling in Boulder, probably watching the press conference like, they said what now? Deshaun's still off the grid, maybe out of signal range entirely, and Stefanski's probably already planning his next big press conference apology tour. Because if there's one thing Cleveland does consistently, it's inconsistency. This franchise has turned confusion into a brand, and somehow they make it look effortless.
That's why I got popcorn. I'm just chilling. I'm just reminding y'all what y'all said. Now, by the way, don't get mad at little me. I was there when you said all the stuff. And by the way, I rebutted in real time. I ain't sit here and say, no, hold on now. I rebutted in real time.
The Browns just can't do anything the normal way. They can't release a simple injury report. No, it has to be a full-blown event. And naming a starter, forget it. That's not an announcement. That's a suspense thriller. So here's where things stand right now. The head coach gave up play calling, the quarterbacks are dropping faster than phone signals in a tunnel, and the team's entire identity sits somewhere between confused and concerned, and when it all inevitably falls apart, you just know Stefanski's gonna spin it as part of his building resilience plan. Somehow, someway, the Browns have mastered the dark art of turning dysfunction into tradition. Every single season, it's the same loop. Sky-high hopes, a wave of injuries, bizarre press conferences, random quarterback rotations, and a head coach who could turn bad news into a full-length TED Talk. This man could announce a hurricane and still find a way to sound like it's a leadership seminar. And poor Tommy Rees, the man just got here. He's probably still trying to memorize everyone's names, and now he's expected to lead an offense that doesn't even know who's calling the plays. It's like showing up late to a group project only to find out you're presenting. Today, no warning, no prep, just vibes and chaos. Maybe Stefanski's secretly zen about it all, sitting back like, this is fine, sipping coffee while everything burns around him. But come on, this is Cleveland. If it can go wrong, it won't just go wrong, it'll go wrong spectacularly. So buckle up, because the Browns season isn't ending, it's just entering its comedy phase. The quarterbacks are falling, the coach is fumbling, and every press conference feels like an episode of The Office. Only this one's filmed in a locker room with way more shoulder pads and confusion. Maybe next week we finally get some clarity. Maybe Shedeur's back magically heals overnight. Deshaun reappears from wherever he's been hiding, and Tommy Rees suddenly turns into the NFL's next offensive genius. Or maybe, and let's be real, this is way more likely, the Browns just find a brand new, even more creative way to confuse everyone all over again. Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure. Cleveland will always keep us entertained. While other teams are out here chasing rings and glory, the Browns are busy perfecting chaos. And honestly, they're undefeated at that. It's their true brand. Confusion, wrapped in optimism, served with a straight face. That press conference didn't feel like strategy talk. It felt like a halftime comedy special disguised as football analysis. There's Stefanski sitting there trying his hardest to act like this was all part of some master plan. Meanwhile, it looked more like the football version of a group project where everyone brought a different PowerPoint slide and nobody knows the topic. He's standing there hyping up Dylan Gabriel like he's the chosen one, while his eyes keep darting toward the door, half expecting Shedeur to burst in and save him from his own words. And if you listen closely, you could almost hear the equipment manager sighing in the background, because let's be real, this team's morale is held together by caffeine, confusion, and one crookedly taped motivational quote above the laundry bins that probably says something like, "Believe."
We may see less stupid shit being called. He's done calling plays, but he's still the leader of the team. The team is still under his leadership. And guess what? The quarterback is still his guy. The quarterback is still the same. With all that being said, what the fuck do we possibly expect to change? Now, if you announce this and saying we're going to move forward with Shedeur this week,
The locker room vibes, straight up reality show energy. You've got defensive players gossiping like contestants on elimination night, whispering about who's getting benched next. Meanwhile, the rookies are texting their agents like, hey, does starter by default count as a bonus clause? Because honestly, at this point it might. And the funniest part of all, Stefanski keeps preaching stability like it's his personal mantra. But every time he says the word, something else completely falls apart. First it was Deshaun's shoulder, then it was Shedeur's back. And now, it's the entire offensive strategy, melting faster than a snow cone in Miami Heat. The team's supposed to be finding balance, but all they've managed to find is new ways to lose control. This isn't football anymore. It's theater with shoulder pads, a live-action drama where the playbook changes mid-scene, and the audience can't tell if they're watching a game or a sitcom. It's pure theater with shoulder pads, and somehow Stefanski's still playing the director, trying to convince everyone the script isn't a total disaster. By the time practice rolled around, the tension in the air was so thick you could bench press it. Dylan Gabriel's out there taking first-team reps like he just stumbled into someone else's dream, looking around like, wait, how did I end up here? Meanwhile, Shedeur's pacing the sidelines, clearly wondering when the NFL turned into one big group therapy session where no one's actually healing. The offensive coordinators are pretending to take notes like it's all under control. The receivers are quietly praying whoever's throwing the ball can actually reach them this time. And Stefanski's standing there with that tight-lipped grin that screams, everything's fine, when absolutely nothing is. It's chaos dressed up as preparation, a full-blown circus pretending to be a practice session. The media's circling like vultures waiting for the next headline. The locker room's buzzing with whispers, side eyes, and half-baked theories, and somehow everyone's acting like this is all part of the plan. Sure thing, coach. If the plan was to confuse your entire team, ignite a quarterback controversy, and officially turn Cleveland into the NFL's favorite soap opera, then yeah, mission accomplished. Because at this point, the Browns aren't just playing football, they're starring in the wildest drama on turf. Every snap, every press conference, every awkward sideline stare is just another episode in a season nobody can stop watching. So hit that like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe, because this Cleveland chaos, oh, it's far from over, and you're gonna want to see what happens next.